Hi y'all, welcome back to the channel. So, what are we going to do today? We're going to take it easy-ish. So, I'm going to talk about how to host meets. I think there's a lot of questions about hosting regional meets versus hosting independent meets. What do they entail? So I kind of sat down and made a bullet point list, and I'm going to go through some points, and if we want a discussion, we can do that. So when I say regional, I'm talking about a meet hosted by a regional license plate group, such as Dairyland, who is a charter of a larger group, such as ALFCA. So when I say regional, that's what I'm going to be talking about. When I talk about independent meets, I'm talking about meets hosted by just a person. They're not associated with any regional, there's no regional funding, anything like that. So, I'm going to talk about regional first, because I'm going to probably send people to watch this if they want to host a Dairyland meet, and this will probably be good information for them. So, let's talk about venue. So when you're choosing a regional, a venue for a regional meet, you're going to look at a few things. The main factor is probably going to be cost for a lot of regionals. Our limit for our hall right now is about $200 for the hall. Because the calculation is right now is $15 a head, about 30 paying members, to get a calculation of about $450, where $200 goes to the venue and about $250 goes for other costs such as food, drinks, and lunch. You have to worry about insurance, but thankfully, if you're under a regional, you can get insurance from ALFCA, which is $1 a head per ALFCA member that the regional has to pay to ALFCA each time they host a meet to use their insurance. Location. So I'm going to talk about Wisconsin because that's what I know best. Let's say you have a Wisconsin meet way up north. You're not going to give that target 30 members to cover how much that meet's going to cost. But if you have a meet, let's say down in the Milwaukee area, you're going to have over 30 paying members to hit that goal. So that's something you have to think about. Granted, if you're having a location hopefully up north, the cost will be lower. Hopefully the location will be, the venue will be less. Hopefully the food will be less. But post-COVID, that's something you really have to take into account, since we're seeing venue costs rise all over the state. So when you're looking at a venue, there's usually a set minimum of tables. For Dairyland, usually you want about 30 tables, and the old guideline said twice as many chairs, which I don't think is true. 30 tables and 30 chairs is kind of a sweet spot. It's great if you can get more, but a lot of times it's harder to get those larger halls because of the cost, unfortunately. Something you have to talk with the venue about is food restrictions. So Dairyland usually offers coffee, juice, milk, soda, some sort of beverage, donuts in the morning, coffee, and then a lunch in the afternoon. Well, late morning, I guess, early afternoon. Some venues, such as schools, might require you to have a food card. So that's a certification in the state of Wisconsin and probably other states too. So you might not be able to actually have food there, which could derail you hosting that meet there. Another thing is access. So a lot of times we're bringing heavy plates, heavy boxes. So having the venue on the first floor without any steps is crucial. Now, can you find a place with an elevator? Yes, but you got to watch out. Some of those elevators are tiny. You're not going to be able to fit a cart in there. We're trying a Boston location this year. It is in the basement. There are stairs, but there's a full-size elevator. So hopefully things will kind of even out with that full-size elevator. Something Dairyland does is Friday night setup. So they like to come in Friday night, arrange the tables, chairs, get everything set up, donation table, favorite plate table, where are we going to put displays, where are we going to have lunch, auction table. So that's pretty important to be able to have that hall Friday night locked up, secured into Saturday morning, into Saturday afternoon. And usually I would say we try to have the hall Friday late afternoon till about Saturday at 2 p.m. And then something you want to look for is a place to have dinner. So with the Dairyland Regional, we have a Friday night dinner that a lot of us come to before setup. So does the town have a pretty good fish fry? Make sure it has fish fry. No Mexican. I made that mistake. I like Mexican. The little town I hosted in Adams, the best restaurant was a Mexican place, and that did not go over very well. Lesson learned. What foods do we get? For a regional meet, you're looking at coffee, donuts, milk, and juice usually. And then some sort of donuts. And then lunch, we do one or two options. For like Burlington, they order pizza. So they order a whole bunch of pizza because down there, the Domino's has a group pizza deal, which you get a pretty decent group rate at that point. Now, when I've hosted, and let's say Waupun 2 and others, there's not a really good, well, there is good pizza, but not affordable pizza. So what I tend to do is go to the local grocery store and see about catering. So usually small sandwiches, potato salad, coleslaw, a veggie kind of plate. To do that, see where the costs lie, and then do a cost comparison. So like when I'm setting up the Boston meet, I'm gonna look at the pizza places, cost it out of how many pizzas I'll need, delivery, tips, all that, versus going in the grocery store, a platter of sandwiches, a veggie tray, coleslaw, potato salad, whatnot, and do that comparison and see if I can get one or both options under budget. And then if it's both under budget, it's whatever usually is easiest. If I am hosting and an officer, I usually ask for help. So I get people who are non-plate collectors to come in, pick up the food, bring it in, set it up at a table, and all that. Because usually I'm running around getting ready for the meeting, the auction, answering questions as being president. And being host too, it's a lot in less than a 24-hour period. I hope that makes sense, and that's how I when I look for a new place, I usually contact a whole bunch of venues, ask them, their rates, how many tables, chairs, and whatnot. Tables and chairs eliminate a lot of the halls that I've looked at. Most of the time, they have between 5 and 10 tables, and that's it. Like there was going to be a hall that I could use free the Springfield Town Hall, but they have 5 tables. And the place looks a lot bigger than it really is. Getting in the inside, there's just not enough room for a real plate meet. So that is definitely something that limits your venue right away. And something I found out the hard way is like interstate access. Adams really didn't draw the crowd to get that many members to make the meet break even. Where hopefully this Mauston location is right off the interstate. It has more hotels, more options, so hopefully that will be better. So that section is talking about the regionals. And this next section, we're going to talk about a independent. Okay, hosting an independent meet. Now, I have a few more of the independent ones underneath my belt than hosting a regional at this point. And that's only because of COVID. COVID happened in 2020, everything shut down, we couldn't get into our normal halls. So, I had recently bought this property with my wife, and we hosted our first, what we called back then, a mini meet. So, mini as in we didn't have an auction, we didn't have food. I think we had coffee and donuts and soda, but I think that was about it. So it wasn't mini in size, but mini in features. And it went off pretty well, especially with COVID. You know, people didn't have much to do, and I decided to keep doing it, which, if you know about the Wisconsin Knights license plate meets, then you know. But there was also other trials. We had someone host on Alaska. We had someone host, was it Reedsburg? I think it was Reedsburg, with varying success. The problem, just like a regional, is venue, cost, location, right? So independent meet, you're probably gonna, especially just starting out, you're gonna get less people. That's kind of how it goes until you build up a reputation, get advertising out, and then you'll start getting more people. Which, if you have a large enough space, you can always host it at your property. Thankfully, we have the 1,500 square foot museum, you know. And luckily, I'm not weather dependent here, like some people are. If you have if you have a couple open acres, it's easy to host, but if you have bad weather, rain, snow, you're out of luck. With my location, our plan B is keep the garage door open or closed, turn on the heat, turn on the AC, whatever we need, and we can have it inside. So if you're having it at your property, cost is low. It might even be free if you don't count electricity and heat and stuff like that. You might have a good location where you're at, but you got to be careful with insurance. So as an independent, you cannot have, a regional insurance policy because you're not a part of a bigger group. So you're relying on your homeowner's insurance, which is usually not enough. So you want to probably have an umbrella policy at least. I know with the regional policy, it's a $2 million policy, so keep that in mind. So same thing with the independent meet, size, table, and chairs. You can get away with saying, bring your own table and chairs. I do that a lot. I've gotten a few extras where I kind of loan them out during the meets. So my regulars get their own spots where they get year after year after year. Especially with the guys getting up there, I kind of worry about them hauling tables, and so I'm like, just use one of mine. So if someone is a bit older that I kind of worry about them swinging the table around, I kind of reserve tables for them. Now, you can have food at an independent. It's going to depend on your cost. So, like at a regional, you have a, an entry fee, a table fee to cover your expenses. You can do that for an independent. That might restrict your attendance. It does at the regional. It's going to do it at the independent. I keep my 2 good weather ones for free, and I just accept donations because I'll eat the cost of the donuts and the coffee and water and soda, not a big deal. But it would be too much to cover a lunch because lunch can cost a couple $100, and then coffee, donuts, water, soda, that's probably another 100 there on a bad day, because you got to get, if it's your first time hosting, you got to get cups, stirs, sugar, cream, the coffee grounds, all that. And if you don't have a coffee maker, it gets kind of iffy. With my independent, I have a bun unit of like a professional one you see in the cafe. It was the most cost effective. I can produce a lot of coffee really quick. Last Wisconsin Nights meet, I went through a gallon of coffee, almost 6 boxes of donuts, a whole box of Equal, which kind of threw me off guard. I thought I'd go through the regular sugar faster than Equal. And then probably a half a quart of cream. And that's, just one morning. We open the doors between 7 and 8, and we kind of shut down around 1 to 2 p.m. I think that's really about it for hosting an independent meet. It's basically the same thing as a regional. You have some more challenges. A lot of it has to do with establishment of people, establishment of cost. But there's, meets down in Iowa that are independent. There's, of course, Wisconsin has independent groups. I think it's Nebraska has an independent group too. And there's probably a lot more that I don't know of. I'm not really a traveler out of state. I'm a Wisconsin guy. It's just what I know, what I stick to. So if you have any questions, concerns, put them in the comments below. But let me know if I missed anything. And thank you for watching.